Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from News about Adessa Kanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. I am Alfred Okansi.
I'm Christabel Success Treve.
This evening here on Hot Edition, Electoral Commission dispatches electoral materials for upcoming Akwatia by-election. This evening, we bring you updates on how things are shaping up ahead of the September 2 polls. Meanwhile, a disqualified candidate runs to court seeking to restrain the Electoral Commission from conducting the polls. Board of Inquiry giving 30 days to complete investigations into the military helicopter crash. We've got details for you here on Hot Edition. Also, the death toll in communal clashes in Sola, Tuna and Savannah regions surpasses 10. Plus, the Ghana Revenue Authority grappling with a 2 million cedis judgment debt after wrongfully suspending the operating licenses of 3 companies. We have details from Public Accounts Committee hearing earlier today. Stay with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We've got details for you. And plus, we're also updating you on how matters are shaping up, especially in the Tamale Central constituency ahead of the by-election as well. The Narcotic Control Commission has called for these overcrowded cells to be also addressed in a bit to also nap these drug users in the country. All these plus the latest in the world of business and sports over the next 1 hour. Let's settle for a summary of the news now.
In a summary tonight, the West African Examinations Council (WAEC) has launched an investigation after confiscating a mobile phone belonging to an invigilator at the Armed Forces Senior High School in Accra. The phone seized on Monday, August 25, during a monitoring exercise allegedly contained solved questions from the ongoing WASI. Although the materials found were from already written papers, WAEC suspects foul play and a breach of its regulations. The invigilator, Bright Amoa, and the center supervisor have been asked to submit detailed reports while forensic checks are conducted on the device. In other stories, a confrontation over a romantic relationship turned fatal at Impasitia in the Etrima Mponwa district on Saturday, August 23. The deceased 36-year-old Emmanuel Somia reportedly clashed with another man, Jeff, at the home of his girlfriend, Cynthia Nyako. The heated argument escalated into a fight and Emmanuel was rushed to a hospital facility where he was pronounced dead. Education Minister Haruna Idrisu says government will phase out the double track system in senior high schools, describing it as harmful to learning outcomes. He explained that while the policy was introduced to ease congestion, it now undermines quality education under the free SHS program. Now, to address the challenge, government will expand SHS infrastructure and strengthen digital learning resources. Mr. Idrisu added that qualified private senior high schools will also be absorbed into the free senior high school program. The police in Wa have arrested 38-year-old Abena Martha Manibe for allegedly stealing a 1-week-old baby and valuables belonging to the child's mother at the Wa market. The suspect reportedly gained the trust of the new mother, Miss Kofi Mwembele, after posing as a caretaker at the Wa Regional Hospital and later lured her to the market under the pretense of buying baby diapers before absconding with the infant and her handbag. A police team led by Dovsu coordinator ASP Stella Atukwa tracked and arrested her at a hideout in Nwabole in the Savannah region on August 15, rescuing the baby and recovering some stolen items. She was arraigned before the Wa District Magistrate Courts and remanded with a reappearance date set for September 2, 2025. And just before I go, the Z9 helicopter crash investigation board commences work, and in a statement released today, it says the Ministry of Defense hereby informs the public that the investigation board established to inquire into the recent Z9 helicopter crash has formally commenced its work. The board is chaired by the National Security Coordinator with membership drawn from the Ghana Air Force and the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. And this is one we'll be keeping an eye on. Over to you, Alfred.
Indeed, rightly so here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Let's start straight to what's happening. Some disturbances in the northern part of the country as heavy fighting has erupted in Benyeri, a farming community in the Sola Tuna Kaba district of the Savannah region, leaving at least 10 people dead and 12 others injured. The violence, believed to have been triggered by a protracted land dispute, has persisted despite the deployment of police and military personnel to the area. Let's get a bit more on this, because as we do know, on Sunday, August 24, 5 people, all men, were confirmed dead, with 6 others seriously injured during an exchange of gunfire. Security forces have been working to restore calm, but eyewitnesses report that the clashes continue to escalate. Let's get a bit more detail on this, and Christopher Macon is our Savannah regional correspondent, joining us from that particular region and looking into what's happening in that conflict area. Chris, what's the latest on this particular situation? Because we're learning now that the death toll has surpassed 10 as we speak. Hello, Chris. Hello, Chris, can you hear me? Hello, Chris, can you hear me? Unfortunately, we're unable to hear Christopher Malcolm on the telephone. We'll try to raise him back on the telephone to get some more updates on what's happening in this particular community. And stay with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on the Kesme. Richard Commodore is security analyst from. Mr. Commodore, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Leonard. What
we are hearing is that this heavy fighting that erupted in Benyeri, a farming community in the Sola Tuna Kaba district of the Savannah region, the death toll there has surpassed 10. And this violence, which is believed to have been triggered by a protracted land dispute, has persisted, even despite the deployment of the police and military personnel to the area. So what should be the most appropriate response mechanism?
The last time we checked, my understanding is that RISEC is at a meeting, and once they finish the meeting, they will take on, they'll put up another strategy that will help them to curb the violence. I think the area is very large for them. They might need more troops. It is a scattered area. People have run into the forest. Others have left certain specific towns and they are reorganizing at some other places. If the police are not at everywhere at all times, then the levels of killings will go up and the numbers are likely to rise. But if they ask for new numbers and the numbers become large, then it helps them to cover all places at the same time. And that may put a little bit of deterrence into those who want to kill.
I see. But then, despite this proposal that you're making, there's been some heavy police and military presence on the ground in the area for quite a while now. And this is ongoing.
Exactly. Then there are a number of issues involved here. Apart from Ashanti region, where the land belongs to Ashanti Hini, most communities in Africa, land belongs to individuals. It belongs to families. It belongs to clans. I believe that this particular land that is at the center of this contestation, there are people who know the history behind the land, who own the land, who has bought the land, who sold the land. Why is it becoming a problem? And yet they are not speaking. And everybody is hiding. Everybody is keeping quiet. Then the police comes in. They are aware of the genesis of this problem. And the fundamental issues are not resolved. Sometimes the speed at which things happen in the particular areas we are talking about, it could spread a little bit too fast that it goes way, way beyond what the police could have done. And the fact that there's a security measure failure doesn't mean there's intelligence failure. The police might have had the intelligence that this is what others are planning. But if they have a positional problem, then it goes out of hand. And I think it is time for them to regroup again and find out what they are not doing right in order to curtail the killings we are hearing about.
To the extent that you make the point about the root cause of this issue, which is the land dispute, which we understand has been a protracted one. It's been on for quite a while now. What should be done to address the root cause while we deal with the excesses as a result of this, which is the violence? Because yes, we are deploying military and police. That is to curb the violence. But the root cause being the land dispute.
Exactly. People are afraid to speak the truth. People are lying. Lands all over this country. When you take the Ashanti region out, lands belong to individuals. Land belongs to families. Land belongs to tribes. Let's go and find out. Really, if you want to solve it, let's find out who is telling the truth and who is telling lies. Land cannot be owned by two people. And this whole issue about land gas and land ownership, even though we passed the Land Act, it didn't help us because we ran away from the truth. And I believe that in disputed areas such as the northern part we are talking about involving land, we can easily find out what the history is and who owns the land, and let's address it. Because our non-ability to address some of these core issues in more frankness and in a common and with a common understanding that puts matters to rest, it will continue to create problems for us. Somebody sold the land. Some people are pretending they didn't know about it, or the land was not sold. Some people are using politics to take the land by force, and others are agitating because they are asked to do so. No, somebody is telling lies, and we need to find out the true ownership of this land and resolve it as quickly as possible.
And that's why I thank you so much for your thoughts on this. As always, Richard Kumado is a security consultant joining us on this. Let's say a bit further in this particular area because it's not looking good. This is the Benyeri area, a farming community in the Sola Tuna Kalba district of the Savannah region. Our Savannah regional correspondent Christopher Marco is joining us. Chris, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Alfred.
Perfect. Now, we understand that the death toll has risen beyond the 10, which you reported earlier. What's the latest?
Yes, so, Alfred, it's very true that the death toll has increased. This is as a result of reprisal attacks in the enclave where this conflict started yesterday. Now, we all know that yesterday, when we reported on this matter, we indicated that some security presence was felt in the area. Unfortunately, the numbers has not been encouraging. Today, RECSEC met, the Savannah Regional Security Council met, and their decision was to beef up security. But, you know, because the place is a scattered area, and so the security are unable to reach every part of the area. So before the security deployment that was made earlier today got to the area, some casualties were recorded. And as we speak, Alfred, I can confirm that more than 10 people have reportedly died from this conflict which started yesterday. Several others have been injured and currently receiving treatment at the Solar Government Hospital and other places in the Upper West region. And so, Alfred, it's becoming a very tense situation in the Benyeri area in the Solar Tuna Kalba district.
See now, but you heard Richard Kumado talk about the security situation or the presence in the area. There's been some reinforcement there as well, but how much of an impact or a difference from what you do know has that made, especially talking to the residents there?
Okay, so like I said, the place is vast and scattered, and so the security could be at point A, and before they realize there is a reprisal attack at point B, and so they will have to move to that area as well. By the time they get there, another reprisal attack is taking place at another section of the community. And so even though we have some security deployment to the area, more security personnel must be deployed to ease the situation there. RECSEC has indicated that they are going to deploy more security. But Alfred, before the military, the police will get to every part of the community, we are likely to record some fatalities as a result of this, because in the afternoon when we did the report, the 5 deaths were still the number that we reported on. But just after the report, we gathered that some other sections of the area have been attacked again. And so it's not just like one point where the attack is taking place. You are here, you hear that another part is being attacked. And so that is how it is.
Chris, and we understand that earlier you reported, in fact, that some 12 persons have sustained injuries. What's the situation now?
Yes, some of them are currently receiving treatment at the Solar Government Hospital. Others have been moved to some hospitals around the upper west region because of the proximity of that region to where the conflict is currently ongoing. And so I can say that some of them reports indicate that they are responding well to treatment, but I cannot be sure that whether some of them have died as a result of that, but the injuries are very severe. Alfred, I must also add that more houses in the Gbenyeri area have been touched. People have fled the area. Earlier today, because of that discussion that the Solar Tuna Kalba District Security Committee had and the negotiations they were doing behind the closed doors, some of the people who fled the area were returning. But unfortunately, as we speak, a lot more of them are deserting the community.
Chris, appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. Christopher Marco is our Savannah regional correspondent. If you go on our Facebook page right now, we're showing you videos of this heavy fighting that erupted in Gbenyeri, a farming community in the Solar Tuna Kalba district of the Savannah region, living at least, now we do know, more than 10 people have unfortunately died as a result of this, and 12 others sustaining various degrees of injury. The violence, believed to have been triggered by a protracted land dispute, has persisted despite the deployment of police and military personnel to the area. On Sunday, August 24, 5 people, all men, were confirmed dead, with 6 others seriously injured during an exchange of gunfire. So that's the update that we have in that particular area. Let's go to the now the West African Examination Council, WAEC, because a number of things have happened after the release of the provisional BEC results. Today, there's been an incident as well involving the WASI invigilator who had solved questions on his mobile phone. Let's get into that.
Yes, the mobile phone belonging to an invigilator, Bright Amwa, at the Armed Forces Senior High Technical School has been seized by the West African Examinations Council, WAEC. This is because the invigilator is alleged to have been in possession of already solved questions from the ongoing WASI. The exam center supervisor has been instructed to submit a report explaining why an invigilator had a phone in the exam hall and was improperly dressed. A full-scale investigation is expected to be launched to determine the source of the questions and the invigilators network, as this is often a part of a larger organized syndicate. The unauthorized use of mobile phones during examinations is fast becoming a challenge for WAEC. This year, 895 results from the 2025 BECE were cancelled and 1,333 results were withheld. Some teacher unions have been speaking about the latest developments. General Secretary of NAT, Thomas Sanko Musa, is demanding clarity from WAEC on how the alleged malpractices were detected and verified, urging parents who feel wronged by the cancellations to seek legal redress.
We have, I have seen the press release by WAEC indicating that they detected some issues during the whether the collation and also the marking, putting together the materials and also they detected some issues, and as a result of that, we have cancelled some papers, suspended some, investigating some, among others. In as much as nobody of right-thinking person would ever support examination malpractice because of its serious implications to national development. Because at the end of the day, these students will end up to be our leaders. Some of them will end up becoming teachers, will end up becoming medical doctors, will end up becoming lawyers. And the only way we can assess them to make sure that we get the best to become what the nation expects is through this assessment. And so we cannot compromise on it on any way, because any attempt to compromise on the integrity of what the examinations that WAEC normally conduct for us is to compromise on our safety, compromise on our security, and compromise on our national development. And that is not something that any person will want to entertain. In as much as I have indicated that WAEC will have to put its house in order, the question I want to ask WAEC is, WAEC, assuming a parent should take you to court today, be ready to prove with evidence what you have put out. Because somewhere in January, February, you were sued and you lost the case in court.
That was General Secretary of NAT, Thomas Tanko Musa. Meanwhile, NAGRET President Angel Kabunu is calling for firm punitive measures against students and parents found guilty of cheating.
It's unfortunate. It should be condemned. We will have to work harder to stamp out this issue of examination malpractices. We have to obey the rules set by the examination authorities, and also to let the children know that there is no shortcut to success. The only sure means to success is hard work. That's the only sure means to success. But you see, the complication of the examination malpractices is not just because it is done amongst students. Elderly people outside the school premises have gotten involved. Teachers who should be stamping this canker out are involved. Parents are ready to pay for the child to acquire so-called possible answers. So if it were only child-to-child attempt to cheat, then all the names that I have mentioned have a role to play to stamp it up. But here is a case where beyond the child in the school, we are having a lot more societal persons all involved in it. So it tells you where our country is going gradually.
But is it not worrying that every year we seem to have that?
This year it has come down.
The malpractice have come down?
Oh, yeah. Man.
Because you are looking at the figures?
Yes, with the figures it has come down relatively.
But we cannot deal with it totally?
We need to deal with it totally by exacting the punitive and sanctioning laws. When people are found guilty, they should be dealt with according to law.
Especially when teachers are involved. We are told by
everybody, teacher, headmaster, chief, whatever.
That's Angel Kabunu, is president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers as NAGRAT. Let's stay a bit further on this because the one of the foremost education CSOs in this country has done quite some work in this malpractice issue that all the time is recorded either during the BC or the WASI, as we are seeing. In fact, if you go on our Facebook page, you'll see the video of this invigilator of the ongoing WASI who was caught with solved questions on his phone. We're showing you that video on Facebook at 3FM927 right now. That invigilator who was caught with this solved questions on his phone for a particular exam that was ongoing. He had already solved the questions and was going into the exam hall to invigilate the students. So you can imagine what's going to happen. But thankfully, we have Kofi Asare, Executive Director of the Unfortunately, we lost Kofi on the telephone. We will try to raise Kofi back on the telephone, but okay. So we have Kofi. I think that the connection is rectified now. Kofi Asare is the Executive Director of the Africa Education Watch, one of the foremost CSOs in the education space, not only in Ghana but across the continent. Asare, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, good evening, Alfred, and good evening to your text audience.
Perfect. Now, with this BSc provisional results that WAEC has released, you've done a 4-year analysis of malpractice trends for school candidates, which reveals a very disturbing surge, in fact, an increase in the cases of malpractice, the highest in nearly a decade. Let's get a bit more into it. I mean, how troubling is this picture that you have seen in this trend?
Alfred, if you look at the data on cancelled results, provisional data provided by WAEC upon release of BC results in the past 10 years, you realize that the highest number of candidates being involved in cancelled results is about 440. I think it was only 1 year. I think in 2019 where we recorded about 480. But largely the 10-year average is about 420. We have a situation where this year over 840 candidates are involved in cancellations at the point of releasing provisional results. And that is very, very concerning. We virtually doubled the number of cancelled results at release of provisional results from last year. We doubled it by over 100%. If you look at withheld results too, it's also increased. By 2022, we're doing about less than 50 or so withheld results. Now we are doing about 1,333. That's over 3,000% increase. So, yes, this is WAEC's provisional results, and we are comparing it with other provisional results. The trend doesn't augur well for the fight against damnation malpractice. It points to a situation where we made some gains last year and last 2 years where there were declines, marginal declines, and suddenly it shot up by 100% this year.
I see.
So it doesn't look too good for damnation malpractice at the BC level.
And what could have contributed to this rather troubling trend of examination malpractice, which clearly, as depicted, rising by 100% from 422 cases to 895 cases this year? What could have influenced?
The drivers are systemic. We haven't solved the systemic issues. We've seen responses that have targeted mainly preventing leakages, which we've been successful in dealing with in the past 3 years, since 2022 or so. But largely, there are still issues with physical presence of WAEC in all centers because they have logistical constraints. They need about 200 staff to be able to operate well. They have budgetary issues, etc. But let me say that while we have strengthened security of questions and preventing them from leaking significantly, one area we have been lacking is demanding accountability for malpractice from school heads. If I'm a school head and I cannot be held accountable for whatever happens in the school or my center, then it actually gives me the comfort that if I'm a bad person, to collude, and have the kids taught. And so when you see this happen, it means that accountability deficits exist, in the schools. That other angle is that parental support from malpractice is still live. Parents are paying all sorts of money for BC support. They know very well that, in some cases, these are disguised payments supposed to facilitate examination within collusion, but then they pay. And so I would say that these are systemic issues that we are to confront head on. I am happy that the GES issued a directive ahead of WASI that this time around, 2 things are going to happen. One, per the minister's admonition, any teacher caught in WASI fraud or malpractice will be dismissed outrightly. That's one. Number 2, that if a school, if there's an instance of admission collusion in a particular school, the head teacher will be held to account. And so, with these two interventions, I believe that we are gradually beginning to demand accountability for school heads for their actions or inactions that leads to more practice happening in centers where they, by virtue of they being headmasters, are supervisors.
A very important call in there, and Zazaria, thank you so much for this, and we would have a further detailed conversation on Ghana tonight. So thank you so much for connecting with us. Kofi Asare is the director of the Africa Education Watch, an education CSO in this country, giving us details of the trend analysis that they have done over a 10-year period, the cases of examination malpractice, and there's been 100% increase of the case of examination malpractice as compared to last year, 425. This year, we're looking at some 895 cases, and the situation is not looking good. What is WAEC saying?
Yes, earlier, the head of public relations for WAEC, John Kapi, said most of the cancellations were due to unauthorized use of mobile phones and other foreign materials in the examination halls. He told TV3 New Day the candidates' ability to sneak in mobile phones suggests inadequate searching by invigilators or possible collusion. Well, we'll bring you that in a subsequent bulletins. Alfred?
Let's go on to some more stories here on Hot Edition, as we're learning right now that the acting minister in charge of defense has announced that the board set up to investigate the August 6 Z9 military helicopter crash has officially commenced its work.
Yeah.
In a statement issued on Monday, August 25, the ministry said the board is chaired by the National Security Coordinator, with members drawn from the Ghana Air Force and the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. There's a statement signed by the Acting Minister of Defense, Dr. Kasiel Atto-Forsyth, and we have a copy of that statement right now. We'll get into it. Let's get a bit of detail into that. Christabel.
Yes, so it's headline Z9 helicopter crash investigation board commences work, and this was dated August 25, 2025. It says the Ministry of Defense hereby informs the public that the investigation board established to inquire into the recent Z9 helicopter crash has formally commenced its work. The board is chaired by the National Security Coordinator, with membership drawn from the Ghana Air Force and the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, GCAA. The United States of America is providing advice and assistance to the board through visiting investigators from the U.S. Air Force. The board may also invite other relevant experts and institutions, both local and international, to assist with the investigation. It will be recalled that on the day of the incident, 6th August 2025, a preliminary investigation team was constituted to gather all available evidence relating to the crash in support of the board's work. The preliminary investigation team is scheduled to submit its reports to the board today. The investigation board has been mandated to complete its work within 30 days, and this was signed by the Acting Minister for Defense, Dr. Kasiel Atto-Forsyth.
Well, so it's a very interesting development that's coming up right now because of what we're learning regarding this particular issue of how long this investigation will take. 30 days. We'll hear from a former pilot with the Ghana Air Force who is now an aircraft accident forensics expert, Professor Kwesi Ejekum, is going to be joining us in a bit. But Dr. Victor Doke, also joining us right now. He is a security analyst and a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Dr. Doke, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Dr. for having me.
Now, per this statement, this committee has a 30-day period to do its work. But then again, we've heard from some analysts how long this whole investigation could take. Some have recommended, in fact, some have indicated 6 months, others say minimum of 1 year, all things being equal. Now we are told that this committee has been given a 30-day mandate to complete their work and submit their findings. How does this strike you?
Well, thank you very much. I think before the committee will come out with a statement regarding the length or period of the investigations and whatever that they have to do, they have already discussed at the background with regards to how long they think it will take. And with all these aspects, with their various experiences and various skills regards to what has happened, they obviously knew that the 1 month period, they can meet that deadline. And they came out with that directive. If not, they would have proposed 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. But once they have met with a formal statement, then it means they can meet that deadline.
I see. But then what are some of the issues that would be of consideration to this committee as they're doing their work now, as far as you do know?
One, you're talking about, with regards to what happened, issues of consideration will further on what really went wrong. Is it the aspect of a mechanical failure, or the issue about human error, or a natural phenomenon like the weather and all of that? Now, aside that, there's going to be a wide range of issues to tackle, i.e., the institutional aspect also will come in with regards to the armed forces itself and their SOPs will have to be looked at again. So, in essence, all these issues will come up, but by and large, you trust me that when the investigations are ongoing, there will be other issues that will come up. Anyone that will call for, they will invite and then interrogate. And when they get new updates, they will now follow up and then also try to incorporate that in their investigations. So the issues are so much. There's a variety of issues that they will be looking at, not just only what happened, but I said when whoever that is being interrogated or be asked to come and give details, and then they get a new update, they will just look at that work.
Dr. Doke, I appreciate your time on this. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Dr. Victor Doke is a security analyst and also a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Now let's hear from a former Ghana Air Force pilot who is an associate professor of aeronautics and an aircraft accident specialist, Professor Ejekum, joining us. In fact, we spoke to him earlier, and he's been telling us from his analysis how long this investigation into what exactly caused this helicopter crash could take. Let's take a listen to him.
Craft itself, it's the various components, the engine make, the aircraft type, the number of hours that the aircraft has flown, the last time it was maintained, all those are factual. Air traffic, communication, whether it was under surveillance, would look at things like the weather that prevailed at that particular point until the last known interaction between the crew and the traffic controller. So these are established where the occurrence took place. And then the investigator would let us know that the process is still ongoing, and hopefully in a year's time, if everything is wrapped up and we have enough evidence or we've collected enough data to be able to zone in on probable causes and contributory factors, which will help us to be able to come up with the most appropriate safety recommendation or recommendations for safety, will submit the report. In this case, it's a military investigation. The Ghana Air Force has what we call the Ghana Air Force Flying Operation Standards and the Ghana Air Force Aviation Standards. And there is no particular time bar, because what is happening is that the preliminary investigation team has been to the field. They've done their preliminary field assessment or analysis. They've looked at the wreckage.
You talk about
operators themselves, what was the state of mind? And that normally comes by looking at things like fatigue And so the amount of data that has to be collected by accident investigators, which will be handed over to what we call a board of inquiry. And they will look at all the data and, based on that, the findings will determine the causal and contributory factors. I cannot, make a prediction as to whether it will be done in 30 days or in 2 weeks or maybe in 4 months. It's a process that is ongoing, but hopefully, since we are tied almost to Annex 13, I am, in my opinion, envisaging that within a year's time, we should be able to almost zone in on most probable causal and contributory factors.
Within a year, all things being equal?
All things being equal, crossing my hand, hopefully we should be able to get this wrapped up.
I see. And when you talk about a year, there has to be appeal for a lot of patients, because this is a meticulous process. That is,
yes.
It's a factual process, data-driven, flight data recorder. You talk about the cockpit voice recorder, documentary analysis, as you have referenced, interviews that will be done, and the entire process in the midst of the questions, and you see that sense of impatience. People want answers, but at this point, we have to also temper that with a lot of patience. That's what you say, isn't it?
Yes, please. I understand. I know everybody, we want answers now and now and now. But unfortunately, investigators, I get it, the emotions, the anxiety. But one characteristic of every good investigator is that we try to filter out the noise, and then we look at the body of evidence.
That's Professor Kwesi Jukum there. He is an associate professor of aeronautics and aircraft accident specialist and a former pilot of the Ghana Air Force, sharing his thoughts with us. He had put the time period to possibly a year, all things being equal. This committee has been given 30 days to submit their work. We would have to get the details of exactly what the mandate of this committee is, whether they're supposed to also investigate the exact cause of crash, because that will also tell a story. But we'll get a full more details of the mandate of this committee. But let's get to Akwatia right now.
The Electoral Commission has dispatched electoral materials for the upcoming Akwatia parliamentary by-election. The move marks a major step in preparations as the electoral body gears up for the crucial poll slated for September 2. Eastern Regional Director of the Commission, John Apiabafo, tells 3FM the Commission is leaving nothing to chance to ensure a smooth and credible exercise.
Talking now, the ballot papers have been printed and we've dispatched them to Akwatia. The other election material like the ballot boxes, all of them have been labeled. The materials needed, all of them have been sent to them. And then we'll do our packaging on Sunday and Monday. And then Tuesday, we transport everything to the polling station for the smooth conduct of the elections. So I would say that Commission is fully prepared. What we are left with is the training of the election officials, and from Tuesday going, we are going there to do the grassroots training for all the election officials for the conduct of the by-elections. We, the Electoral Commission, we don't have interest in who wins the elections. Our common interest is to organize free, fair, and peaceful elections, and that is all that we want to have. So we entreat all the political parties also to comport themselves, conform to the rules, so that at the end, we shall all have the peaceful elections that we are yearning for. We've been engaging the political parties. Our head office held an IPAC meeting with all the political parties, and they discussed the process of the by-elections. The region too, we are going to have a DIPAC meeting with the political parties at Akwatia, maybe on Wednesday. And we are also going to discuss the process. So we'll be engaging them. Our advice is that elections are governed by rules and regulations. So we expect all the political parties to abide and respect the laws. And if they respect the laws, then we are going to have the free, fair, and the peaceful elections that we are all yearning.
That was John Apia Bafo, who is the Eastern Regional Director of the Electoral Commission. But you do know that the by-election has become necessary following the demise of NSC Al-Kumi, the incumbent Member of Parliament. 3 candidates, each representing the NPP, NDC, and the LPG, are in the race to replace the late lawmaker. A 4th candidate, David Ankoma of the Action People's Party, was disqualified at the 11th hour, a development that has incurred the anger of the party, which is now in court seeking to place an injunction on the entire process. The party contends that its candidate was denied the opportunity to contest in the elections despite meeting all the requirements. They are praying the courts to compel the EC to include their candidates in the race. And we're going to connect to the chairman of the Action People's Party. He is Kenneth Nana Kwame. Alfred?
Yes, Kenneth, can you hear us? Good evening.
Yes, Alfred, good evening.
Right. Now, has the Electoral Commission been served this writ?
Yes, they have been served. That was the Thursday that we served them. I think today is, they were served on Thursday. Yeah.
I see. And you have a record of they being served?
Everything, yes. In fact, I went with the bailiff. So we intentionally took pictures of the servants, so we have all of them on the record.
And what exactly are you contesting?
Well, Alfred, the whole thing was that, in fact, when they opened the nomination, we were the first political party that filed our nomination on the 12th of August. In fact, according to the rules and the regulation of the Political Party Act, whenever you presented your form, the commissioner or the district director have to go through with you with all your nomination forms to assent their signature to it so that you will know that you have perfectly submitted your application. That is exactly what happened. So on the 12th, we submitted our application. We went through with the Electoral Commission, all the documents, everything, before the presiding officer assessed his signature and gave us a copy. On the 13th, they invited us 5 p.m. for the balloting. All the 4 political parties that as far were present, including the commander of Akwatia Police, the BNI, the National Security, all of them were present. On the ballot, we picked number 3. So after the question is, if we were not qualified, why did they invite us to come and balloting? Fast forward, on the 15th, the Electoral Commission gives our details and documents to Inspector General of Police that these are the 4 candidates that are qualified to contest on that election. So doing, the IGP invited all the 4 candidates, including the Electoral Commission for security meeting at Akotia, in which I presented my party. Right there on the 18th, 5 p.m., 5:12 p.m., we got a first letter from the Electoral Commission that they are giving us one up to the end of the day for us to present our task clearance. Alfred, before we presented our form, my candidate was a government worker. He has been working for Akotia General Hospital for the past 16 years. He has been paying direct tax to the government of Ghana. And that is what we presented to them before they accepted our nomination, that once he's a taxpayer and he paid direct tax to the government, there is no need for that tax clearance. So that was clarified. So on the 18th, when we received that letter from them, it was very something different for us. But I ordered my candidate on the 19th in the morning go to GRA office for the document. When he went there, the GRA authority told us that because of the time that we came, they cannot give us the certificate at that moment, and that the certificate will be ready on Monday. But they start the proceedings and give us the ledger, tax ledger, and stamp it. They send it to me while I was in the meeting with Tete and Bossman at the IGP office. I show it to Tete, and Tete asked me to send it to him. I forwarded that to Tete. Tete went to office. 4 19th, Tete picked up a phone and called me and said, Nana, Kenneth, we have received your tax ledger. Everything is successful. You are okay. But as your candidate, to go and give the hard copy to the district office on record so that they will know that we have applied for that tax clearance. Fast forward, we did that after I finished talking with Mr. Tete on the 19th. Immediately we dropped the phone. Mr. Tete asked Mr. Kisi to call me so that we should submit our logo so that they will use it for the notice of a pool, which we submitted it to them. So on the 19th, on the 20th, that they were printing the ballot, we thought everything is done. We are finished with them. We have no problem with it. 4:30 p.m. on the 20th, when they were printing the ballot, that was when Mr. Tete sent me a letter of disqualification. Since then, I tried to call Mr. Tete for verification for this. He hasn't picked his phone. So I said, okay. I said, okay, if that is okay, we will order our lawyers to go to court and seek for injunction on the case on tuition, put my candidate's name on that ballot. So that's the reason why we went to the court.
I see. But a lot of people who heard your political party's name, Action People's Party, are quite surprised. This is the first time a number of people are hearing your party's name. Who are you? Action People's Party.
Action People's Party has been in existence in 2020. In 2020, after the election of 2020, that is where we apply for our party certificate. In fact, when we apply for this certificate, in 2 months, we received our provisional certificate.
And have you been an active political party since 2020?
We have been active. And everybody knows. In fact, Alfred, I have even wondered that you don't know because your TV station always carrying my news. Always.
But do you have offices across the country as required by law?
Alfred, if we don't have that offices across the country, we wouldn't have given the final certificate in the first place. Once we have been able to acquire got our final certificate, it means as for those process has already gone and passed because we are fully qualified. That is why on October 22nd, Electoral Commission give us our final certificate. In fact, before the 2024 election, our certificate has been given to us, but it was given to us after they have filed the presidential, and that is why you did not see us on the ballot on the 2024. But we have an alliance with the INDC, and the publication were there. So everybody knows, every media knows. In fact,
I see. You are aligned with the NDC in the 2024 elections.
Yes, on the 2024 election.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for this, and we'll see how the coming days will look like since you have served the Electoral Commission. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, and I appreciate it.
This is a hot edition. We've got all the latest in business and sports. Bismarck Awusa is next with business.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM. Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
It has always been a journey of Pan-Africanism.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year and Bill's Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bill's offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Besma Kausa. Coming up tonight, Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, names 9 institutions, including Graphic Communications Group, among state and private enterprises, owing over 47 million cedis in unpaid taxes as recovery measures begin. This story and others lined up for you. Please stay. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. The Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has disclosed that 9 institutions collectively owe the state 47 million cedis in unpaid taxes as of the 2023 or end of 2023, highlighting persistent compliance challenges among both private and state-owned enterprises. Appearing before the Public Accounts Committee, PAC of Parliament, on Monday, August 25, 2025, Commissioner General Anthony Kwesi Sapon said the authority has initiated recovery processes to retrieve the outstanding sums. According to the GRA, the Graphic Communications Group tops the list of debtors with 3.4 million cedis in arrears, followed by Gihog Distilleries with 2.1 million cedis, while Tema Oil Refinery, TOR, owes 136,000 cedis.
I have a very fruitful engagement with the committee, particularly in relation to efforts that we are making to collect taxes and recover tax debts. Tax debts are one of the difficult areas for our work. However, as GRA, we are committed to national development, and national development comes with revenue mobilization. And therefore, in instances where we have difficult tax debt, we put in all the efforts to make sure that we are recovering. And that said, these are some of the actions that we are taking. One, continuous engagement with taxpayers to ensure that they pay the debts. And I want to take this opportunity to ask and to appeal to taxpayers that it's not a matter of dodging the tax, it's a matter of dialoguing with us and finding the ways to settle their debt, even in difficult times. We are also at rare occasions, use the enforcement actions that are permitted in law, which is either garnishing accounts or sealing off. But we always say GRA want to have the human face, and therefore we're not using these actions as norm, but really. And what we would like to encourage taxpayers that we shouldn't get to that point where we have difficulties, we can talk and make sure we dialogue to collect the amounts. We have done tremendous effort in terms of the report that we presented to them, achieving greater strides in recovering the taxes, and we also assure that the remaining amounts we continue to work with taxpayers and collect it.
And that was Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, Anthony Kwesi Sapon. The Ghana Online Drivers and Courier Union is threatening a strike over rising attacks on its members and what it calls illegal charges by ride-hailing company Bolt. The union says drivers and courier operators have become targets of frequent robberies in areas such as Teshi, Lungwa, Ashoman Estates, Achimota Overhead, and the Accra-Tema Motorway. Chairman Francis Tenge says members are living in fear and need urgent help.
We are calling on the Minister for Communication, Minister for Transport, the Minister for Employment. The government, Ghana Police Service should come in our aid. We are also calling on the chiefs and people of Teshi, the Ghana chief. We are calling on major stakeholders to help us because the situation that we are facing now is too much. We can't even bear it anymore. Sometimes they even stabbed us, and so it's becoming serious. We leave home and we are scared we cannot return back home. Most of the jobs that we work, our earnings for the day and at night, they take it from us. So we are really scared, and so we really need help for our lives. But sometimes now, anytime that we go to Teshi Mamli, Teshi, Labadi, Nungwa, Achimota Overhead, the motorway, Sherman Estate and its environments. Most of the riders that that request us that we take them end up taking our money from us. They end up snatching our phones from us. And mostly what they do is that they are two. And when the first one take the phone from you and you try to get them and then you change the other person, then use the back end and they enter your car, take your money, take whatever belongings that you have. So we are really suffering. We need help.
And that was Chairman of the Ghana Online Traders and Online Drivers and Courier Union, Chairman Francis Tenge, bringing us to the end of the business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Ausa. And that also brings us to the end of Hot Edition. Thanks for your company.